Hey guys, if you are a 2025, 26, or even a 2027 bride, I need you to get in here because I'm giving you the top 10 tips that you need to know to have the most stress free and beautiful destination wedding. Let's get into it.
I love you, I love you, I love you. Until I love you, I love you.
Okay, so tip number one is read that contract. Like, I know everybody says it, read your contract before you sign it, but for real, you actually need to read every single line of that contract, all of the fine print. I would copy it and drop it into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to let you know, like, the most pertinent information in the contract because every single line counts, and it really makes a difference in the cost and the things that you will need to expect to pay. So definitely make sure that you're reading that. And that kind of goes into tip number two, which is that all your guests must book through the same booking source. We did not know that everyone had to book through the same booking source, or we would be charged penalties if they did not. We knew they had to book through the same booking source for us to receive like credit towards rooms and freebies and things of that nature. But we weren't aware that if they decided to book through a different source, say like we booked through Destify, which was our travel planner, travel coordinator. But if they booked directly through the hotel, we had to pay a penalty fee for each person who did not book through our specified travel agency. So make sure that you read that because that ended up costing us a lot of money, like so much so that the wedding planner was like, tell them they can't come. And I was just not willing to do that because obviously it's not our guest's fault that we didn't know that they couldn't book through a third party or even the hotel itself. They had to book through the same booking source as everyone in order for us to not be charged that penalty fee. So let your guests know that they need to book through that one booking source or they cannot come to your wedding. Okay. It's imperative that you let them know that because you will be charged penalty fees for each person who booked outside of your booking source, for each person, for each event. So, for example, if you're having a welcome party, a wedding, and a reception, those are three different events. So, you definitely want to make sure that you're not paying unnecessary fees three times over. If they can just book through your one booking source because they're not saving any money. Most travel agencies will match the price. So it really just makes sense for them to book the way that you told them to book, or unfortunately, they cannot come. Moving on to tip number three, and this can be a challenge for OCD brides. Thankfully, I'm not one of them, but it is challenging to not hear from your resort until about 3 months out. So, tip number three is you will not hear from your resort until about 90 days before your wedding, which can be challenging and stressful because you won't know the exact price that you're going to have to pay for everything until you actually connect with your vendors, explain to them all of the things that you're looking for, get quotes back, negotiate, and then you'll be given like a final invoice that you will have to pay before your wedding. So about 3 months before our wedding, we were contacted by the Hard Rock Hotel's wedding coordinator, I guess she's called, because it's not the wedding planner. The wedding planner is from your actual resort. This person is located in Miami, and they just coordinate the event for all of the Hard Rock locations. So you'll meet with that person. She will introduce you to your vendors. Like they have a audio vendor, they have a lighting vendor, they have a decorations vendor. What else? A flower vendor. Yeah, she'll introduce you to them, and it'll be your responsibility to communicate with those vendors, let them know what you're looking for, get quotes back from them, and then review the quotes to make sure you're comfortable with it. Everything that you want is there. And then once you approve the quote, the wedding coordinator will itemize it on the invoice and you will have to pay the final invoice. I believe it's 60 days before your wedding date. So at that 90-day mark, things move very quickly. You cannot like wait around and decide if you want this or that. Like you have to tell them what you want And I'll get more into that on the next tip. But you have to tell them what you want, and then they'll respond. If you don't like it, say, can you remove this? Can you add that? How much would it be for this? Go back and forth until you got it exactly how you want it. And then you'll send that over to your wedding coordinator, and she will add it to your final bill, which you will need to pay 60 days prior. So moving on to tip number 4, make sure you do a site visit if you can. I know it might be challenging because it is pretty expensive to go there just to visit and then go there again for your wedding and then actually pay for your wedding. But I would highly recommend doing a site visit. When we went there, we planned it through the hotel, like as an actual site visit. We didn't just go to look around. We coordinated through the hotel. Another thing, make sure you book your site visit using the link that they provide you for your site visit, because they did not give us credit for our site visit, even though we were in communication with them the entire time, because we did not use the specific link that they gave us. And I was furious about that. But if you do a site visit, make sure that you click the link that they tell you. And then during that site visit, we met with all of the vendors. It was a very nice meeting. They did a whole presentation. JJ Studios was the photographer. There's the decoration team. There's the florist, and the audiovisual team. And you'll meet with them at your site visit. They'll show you all the things that they offer. They won't give you the baker as well. We did a cake tasting. Do you want to get in the video? Because you're just like this off-screen person that come. It's like God talking. Yeah. So hey guys, this is my husband.
Hello.
We've been married for what now?
2 months?
2 months now, like officially, but our wedding was not even a month ago. It was June 22nd, 2025, at Cabo, at the Hard Rock Los Cabos. So yeah, here he is. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So yeah, the site visit I thought it was a really nice meeting. They let us know everything that they offer. We did our cake tasting, and we spoke with all of the vendors. And then, but we did our site visit pretty early. We did ours in October, and our wedding was not until June. So at least we kind of had a taste of what they offer. We didn't know pricing at that time, but we kind of we were able to envision what we wanted and who we would be working with.
And seeing the venues with the actual space.
Yes, seeing all of the venues. I'll include some of our footage here somewhere.
Yeah, because at June sunset is been around 7.
Yeah.
When it's like when they need to like repaint it, they do it.
Okay.
Yes. But yeah, but this like the color.
Perfect.
Okay. Well, it depends on the setup that you want. If you have the buffet over there.
Yeah, seeing the actual venues, they do a walkthrough with you so you can pick which one you want. if you want to reserve a specific venue, you do have to pay $50 per person for that venue, but they do credit your proposal with that $50 if you reserve it. We did not do that, and thankfully we got pretty much all of the venues that we wanted except for the welcome party, which we weren't really too, strict about. But for our wedding and for our reception, we did not reserve it, and thankfully we were able to still get those venues. So that worked out. Tip number 5 is going to be bring what you can. In terms of like your decor, there are certain items that you cannot bring, and that will be listed on your contract. You can't bring flowers, you can't bring any centerpieces. I'll find the list and I'll put it here for you guys to show you what you cannot bring. But we were able to bring certain things, and I will do a separate video if you want. Just let me know in the comments about all the things that we brought. And thankfully my mom works for an airline, so we were able to pack a lot of bags, and we brought a lot of things. Like we brought our welcome bags, we bought signage, we bought the stands for the signs, we bought our menus, our favors, like these little fans, we bought bubbles. We bought a lot, and I'll do a separate video. It was like,
But to add to that, with the changing climate, you may be subject to tariffs with bringing in some of your stuff.
yeah, I forgot about that. So you know what's going on in the world right now. But my mom had so many bags that when she landed in Cabo, they wanted to do an inspection. They asked her what was the value of her bag. She told them like $500. They were like, no, it's $800. And then they charged her tariffs on that. So that was really annoying, but be prepared for that. So tip number 6, and this is like one of my biggest tips. This saved me a lot of stress, is joining a Facebook group. Find the Facebook group for your destination wedding. Ours, I think the Facebook group that I joined was like Hard Rock Los Cabos weddings or brides or something like that. I'll link it if I can. But that was super helpful because you will be in contact with brides who've just had their wedding, brides who are planning their wedding. You guys can share information. Like I told you, the actual hotel is not going to contact you until about 90 days before your wedding. So if you do not want to be stressed about how much are things going to cost, or if you have specific questions, you definitely want to join a Facebook group because you can just ask, and the ladies in there are wonderful and they will help you if you can. You can also ask me, just leave a comment below, or you can message me on Instagram. I'll also link that below, and I will be happy to share any information that I have. Tip number 7 is going to be start buying your stuff early. So again, you're not going to speak with the actual wedding or know how much things cost until about 60 to 90 days out. So the things that you can buy, your favors, your attire, obviously, all of your other stuff besides the actual cost of your wedding and reception, I would start buying them. Like, you do not want to be stressed out about having to still buy, the little things while you're trying to pay this multi-$1,000 contract.
But make sure you have the list of what you cannot bring.
Yeah, make sure you refer to your list so you're not just wasting your money. But yeah, you can print your signs. Like if you want photos or big banners or anything like that, you can start with that. Your favors, you can definitely purchase that. Again, your attire, if you're having a white party or something, you want to buy all of that. Wedding dress and suit, of course, you want to buy that early. Yeah,
that's really it.
Whatever you can think of, buy it early. Okay, tip number 8. Okay, tip number 8 goes back to speaking with your wedding vendors. This was a mistake that I made, so I'm advising you against it. When you are expressing your vision to your wedding vendors, you want to start with the most expensive and most elaborate package and work your way down. I mistakenly was like so scared of the cost that I started very simple, and even the very simple cost was astronomical to me, and so And so like I didn't want to get any crazier. So I would say show them the most elaborate centerpiece, show them the most elaborate decor that you want so they can give you an itemized list of the cost of each of those items, and then you can pick and choose what is really important to you and what is going to add the most to your wedding or to your reception, and then you can, start to deduct from there. I went the opposite way, and I feel like when you start low, they kind of have a price point where they want you to be at. So, for example, if you're having a 80 person, our wedding was like 86 people, there's a certain price that they want us to spend. Mm-hmm. So even if I say, how much is it for 2 candles and some rose petals, like they're going to give me an inflated price because I need to meet that minimum cost. You know what I mean? So start big, let them tell you how much every single item is, and then start scratching stuff off the list when you realize like, hey, we probably don't need that, or we probably don't need that, but we definitely want this and this and this. Tip number 9. Okay, so at the resort, when we actually landed in Cabo for our wedding, we met with our photographer. We were given some menus to see if we wanted to add on additional things to our wedding, if we wanted to add on additional hair and makeup, if we wanted to add on additional hours for the photographer. The rates that they told us at the actual resort were much lower than the rates that we were quoted by the vendors during our initial meetings. So for instance, like photography, we were quoted, I think, $700 for each additional hour. When we actually got to the hotel and sat down on day 1 of our like meeting, at our wedding, like everything's booked and paid for at this point, we saw that to add an extra hour was $400. So I would have been pissed if I paid the $700 beforehand to add an extra hour and then got there and realized that it was half the price. Also, hair and makeup is much cheaper if you just book it at the resort once you get there instead of paying for it beforehand. The caveat to that, though, is that they may not be available. So if you're having a wedding on a super popular day, ours was June 22nd. It was a Sunday, so it was pretty calm. I think there was only maybe one other wedding that day, but that weekend there were a lot of weddings. Yeah. So during our during our welcome party, I wanted the photographer to just capture pictures of the people at the welcome party. He told me he was not able to do that because he was working several other weddings that day. So that's the only downside. If you obviously book once you're there, other people probably have booked before you. But I would say at least book the bare minimum package that you can for photography or for makeup, and then so you can secure the time slot. And then once you get there, if you want to add on additional time, it's cheaper.
Oh, and to add, for when you guys got ready, to have the actual space for your whole wedding party to get ready. So, I mean, some of the rooms are pretty decent size, but
not for a wedding party.
Yeah.
So they offer the Rock Royalty Room right now, June 2025. Again, prices change very quickly at resorts. The Rock Royalty Room was $500.
Yeah, it was $500.
$500 for the day, and then your entire wedding party can get ready in that one room. We split it up, kind of. We had like the girls towards the back of the room, and I'll insert a picture if I have one. I may have one. But the girls were like towards the back, and then the guys used the front of the room because obviously I didn't want him to see me. And we were able to share. But it's a really nice room for, all of your bridal party to just be together, and to take pictures if you want, and also for hair and makeup. Yeah. So tip number 10, the last tip, is to watch out for hidden fees. So this goes back to tip number 1, which is read your contract and understand your contract. But some of the hidden fees are like if you give them a number of guests that you're going to have, like obviously you have to give them your guest count. You have to confirm your guest count again 3 days before your wedding. So for example, our wedding was on Sunday. When we arrived on Thursday, was it Thursday? Yeah.
Yeah, you have to arrive 3 days
prior. So when we arrived on Thursday, I let her know that although my actual guest count for the wedding and reception was 86, the guest count for the white party was only 81, I'm sorry, because 5 of those people were coming just for the wedding. They were coming on a day pass because they were staying elsewhere. Let them know, because if you do not have the number of people that you tell them that you're going to have, you have to pay penalties. Even though you've already paid for 81 people, if 81 people do not show up, you'll have to pay penalties for the people who are missing. And that's for every event. So, if 80 people said they were coming and then that week 20 people decided that they are sick or missed their flight or whatever happened, which, trust me, it happens because it happened to us. Okay, people were sick, people's passports were expired, like things were happening, and I was getting very stressed out, but thankfully it all worked out. And we were very close to our number, if not at our exact number. So it ended up, somebody also brought someone who was not on the list, so it just balanced out. Yeah. But those are our top 10 tips. Thank you guys. We hope you have a beautiful wedding. I'll insert some footage after so you can see the venues. You can also see the setup that we had for our actual wedding. And I'll do follow-up videos. So drop a comment and let us know what you want to know, and we'll do another video about that. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you're subscribing so we can keep making these videos for you guys. Thanks.